Very good. Why?
Because guns can't bore or pause for breath.
Very good. Okay.
Okay. The youth wished to launch a joke, a quotation from newspapers. He desired to say,
All quiet on the what?
Rappahannock.
Rappahannock?
Yeah.
but the guns refused to permit even a comment upon their uproar. He never successfully concluded the sentence. But at last the guns stopped, and among the men in the rifle pits, rumors again flew like birds, but they were now for the most part black creatures who flapped their wings drearily near to the ground and refused to rise on any wings of hope.
That's the way the rumors flew. Okay?
The men's faces grew doleful from the interpreting of omens. Tales of hesitation and uncertainty on the part of those high in place and responsibility came to their ears. Stories of disaster were borne into their minds with many proofs. This din of musketry on the right, growing like a released genie of sound, expressed and emphasized the army's plight. The men were disheartened and began to mutter. They made gestures expressive of the sentence.
DD.
What?
Would that be
Oh.
him or me?
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
If you're the DD, we would be in trouble already. We'd be arrested. Because, you know what? You're driving like a drunk. Now, get in here and say your part.
Okay. What more can we do?
That wasn't very,
What more can we do?
that wasn't very southern either.
What more can we do?
Very good.
Partner?
Very good.
And it could always be seen that they were bewildered by the alleged news and could not fully comprehend a defeat. Before the gray mist had been totally obliterated by the sun rays, the regiment was marching in a spread column that was retiring carefully through the woods. The disordered, hurrying lines of the enemy could sometimes be seen down through the groves and little fields. They were yelling, shrill and exultant. At this sight, the youth forgot many personal matters and became greatly enraged. He exploded in loud sentences.
But Jiminy, we're general
Yeah, you were doing good. For general?
by a lot of lunkheads. More than one. What?
Uh-huh.
More than one feller he said that today.
Observed a man. His friend, recently aroused, was still very drowsy. He looked behind him until his mind took in the meaning of the movement. Then he sighed.
Oh well, I suppose we got licked.
He remarked sadly. The youth had a thought that it would not be handsome for him to freely condemn other men. He made an attempt to restrain himself, but the words upon his tongue were too bitter. He presently began a long and intricate
Denunciation.
denunciation of the commander of the forces.
Maybe it wasn't all his fault. Not altogether. He did the best he knowed. It's our luck. It's our luck to get licked often.
Said his friend in a weary tone. He was trudging along with stooped shoulders and shifting eyes like a man who has become caned and kicked.
Well, don't we fight like the devil? Don't we do all that? Don't we do all that men can?
Demanded the youth loudly. He was secretly dumbfounded at this sentiment when it came from his lips. For a moment his face lost its valor and he looked guiltily about him. But no one questioned his right to deal in such words, and presently he recovered his air of courage. He went on to repeat a statement he had heard going from group to group at the camp that morning.
DD.
Oh, oh my God.
Yeah.
The brigadier?
Brigadier.
The brigadier said he never saw a new regiment fight the way we fought yesterday, didn't he? And we didn't do better than many other regiments, did we? Well then, you can't say it's the army's fault, can you?
In his reply, the friend's voice was stern.
Of course not.
He said,
No man dare say we don't fight like the devil. No man will ever dare say it. The boys fight like hell roosters. But still we don't have no luck. Well then, if we fight like the devil and don't ever whip, it must be the general's fault.
said the youth grandly and decisively.
And I don't see any sense in fighting and fighting and fighting, yet always losing through some darned old lunkhead of a general.
A sarcastic man who was tramping at the youth's side then spoke lazily.
Maybe you think you fit the whole battle yesterday, Fleming.
he remarked. The speech pierced the youth. Inwardly, he was reduced to an abject pulp by these chance words. His legs quaked privately. He cast a frightened glance at the sarcastic man.
Why no?
He hastened to say in a conciliating voice.
I don't think I fought the whole battle yesterday.
But the other seemed innocent of any deeper meaning. Apparently, he had no information. It was merely his habit.
Oh,
He replied in the same tone of calm derision.
Okay, now what just happened?
he said, oh.
Yeah.
Henry said, "We can fight better than this," and then he realized once he said it, wow, I could fight better than this, because I haven't fought at all. And then he was like, crap, someone's going to catch me and say something out of that. And then the sarcastic guy just threw a joke in, and then he freaked out, but it wasn't a big deal.
But the sarcastic guy had no
Yeah.
information, right? It was just an idle comment with no meaning behind it. It was an innocent statement. But Henry, for Henry, there are no innocent statements, are there? Have you caught that?
Mm-hmm.
There aren't any. For Henry, all statements are judgmental. Why?
Because he's lying.
And he's done what to himself?
Well, he dug his little deep down.
Yeah, he's already condemned himself, hasn't he? He's dug a deep hole for himself, and there's no way out of this hole at this point.
The youth nevertheless felt a threat. His mind shrank from going near to the danger, and thereafter he was silent. The significance of the sarcastic man's words took from him all loud moods that would make him appear prominent. He became suddenly a modest person.
Good.
There was low-toned talk among the troops. The officers were impatient and snappy, their countenances clouded with the tales of misfortune. The troops, sifting through the forest, were sullen. In the youth's company, once a man's laugh rang out. A dozen soldiers turned their faces quickly toward him and frowned with vague displeasure. The noise of firing dogged their footsteps. Sometimes it seemed to be driven a little way, but it always returned again with increased insolence. The men muttered and cursed, throwing back looks in its direction. In a clear space, the troops were at last halted. Regiments and brigades, broken and detached through their encounters with thickets, grew together again, and lines were faced toward the pursuing bark of the enemy's infantry. This noise, following like the yelpings of eager metallic hounds, increased to a loud and joyous burst, and then, as the sun went searingly up the sky, throwing illuminating rays into the gloomy thickets, it broke forth into prolonged pealings. The woods began to crackle as if afire.
Whoop-a-da-dee.
Said a man.
Here we are, everybody fighting. Blood and destruction.
Okay, stop there. All right, I know, you get to start tomorrow, or Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to ask a couple questions before we take out of here. Now, pay careful attention in this section to the way he describes the actions of inanimate objects. For instance, what was the noise? How did he define the noise in that paragraph right before whoop-a-da-dee?
As hounds.
What kind of hounds?
Yelping. Metallic.
So, what would then be the metallic hounds? Hounds, you understand, are like blue tick hounds or red bones or something like that. Hounds that are used for hunting coons and stuff in the forest. What would be a metallic hound?
Copper from Fox and the Hound.
What?
I got it.
What did you say?
Copper from Fox and the Hound. That's his name.
Copper. No, not copper. Okay.
Artillery.
Yes, the artillery.
Oh.
So instead of personification, he's now mixed his metaphors and created a new sound. It's a metallic hound. It sounds like a hound baying in the woods, but they're metallic. So they're cannons talking to each other, baying at each other. fascinating, the way he mixes metaphors. He referred to the stumps in the woods as men. Did you catch that one earlier on? Just the way he defines things is uncharacteristic of literature to date at this time. Okay. And there was a famous novel out at this time, All's Quiet on the Western Front, about World War I, which comes out around 1917. I don't know whether he's referring to that or if that was a phrase that just happened to be thrown around. All's quiet on the Rappahannock. I didn't even know what the Rappahannock is, but it seems like a literary allusion, but I think it's the wrong time period, so I don't know what the actual allusion is to. Right? Any questions? See what's due tomorrow, or next Monday, is your worksheet that I just gave you. Vocab is for 11 and 12 is due Tuesday. The new worksheet will be due Wednesday that I'll give you on Monday, and then vocab for 13 and 14 on Thursday.
So, all these vocab that are due are still just the 10 overall?
10 words. 10 words total, unless there are words that you don't know. You should grab those, because we will have the vocab quiz again.
Ultimate bottle flip.